We're back to our premises and our philosophy and thinking. We've finished at our tools weeks, and now we're going to move into even more concepts. We'll expand on the definition of minimalism. Relationships is what we're going to be talking about now. I should have talked about this back on the 14th of February, but this will do. Relationships are rewarding and deeply complex and the most valuable to our human experience. With that said, when we're having these relationships, it's really difficult to maintain them and have a quality to them. 30, 40, 50 friendships are just going to be very difficult to maintain and bring an intentional relationship together with that person. Relationships, for me, I can handle about 3 to 4 friendships and be really centered and present with each and every single one of them, remembering their birthdays, showing up to their events, things that they care about, and I have a limit to that. And so with that said, I would suggest with my minimalism that I'm using that in just my relationships, in my day-to-day interactions to ensure a high quality, high caliber relationship and connection to the other individual. If I have more than that, it will rob some of that experience. There's no way that I can manage that much. But is there? This is how I began this channel. I am unable to manage more than these individuals, but what I realized was that I could develop a community, just like I'm doing with this channel. Developing a community expands the ability to take care of these individuals and offload some of that responsibility and ensures that everybody is able to have some amount of focus, and it can shift and change, and it can be very different in that way, and it allows it to self-heal that network. So if one person can't pay attention to the other person, that will shift as it needs to, as relationships change and intentional ability changes. Relationships are crucial to society. Without nurtured relationships, we can't have a very nurtured society either. We lose a lot of our critical thinking, and we lose it in a variety of different ways. Social media has been a very difficult challenge for a lot of us, and some people have just shut off their Facebook. I like to use it for a tool to bring more people together, but the primary amount of my interactions is all done in person. And the way that I've done that and the way that I leverage tools is through something that I do at my own house. I do a community dinner. Community dinners have been stellar for everybody who's been involved. They've all enjoyed them, they come together and they get a free meal, and they get to enjoy and partake and have these new concepts from people that they don't usually get to see. We're busy adults. It's hard to make those schedules. And you don't just want to call back and forth until somebody dies and you don't have any time for them, and then your life gets away from you. Community dinners are an important aspect, at least in my community, and it's one way that I developed a community that can harness the individual power to connect to individuals and create that self-healing network when I can't pay full focus to each and every individual. And in that way, I've expanded that definition. And there's another way that I've done that too. You might notice that I am wearing something that is a slightly less professional than normal, but today, Thursday, is one of the days that I'm actually going to my acrobatics class. And I have a community there as well. And I pay attention to them, and we build a community together, and we build an amount of trust together, and that's another way that I can build community, and I'm always there to help teach or support or help the people that are new to our acrobatic classes as well. I really encourage people to build communities, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Communities don't have to be extra complicated. They don't have to become obligatory. They need to be available for people so that they can come in and out as they need to, especially for their own self-care. Self-care is crucial to each individual. A lot of people just forget that, and they try to overextend themselves, and by which they lose all of their health. This is why I'm suggesting that minimalist relationships are important. I know the amount of people that I can handle, that I can really be there with and for and focus on. And I only handle that amount of people with the exception of developing that community. And those people change over time. Sometimes we aren't able to spend time together, I can't or they can't, and so they can fall back on the community. But it's an underlying backbone for each individual to rely on. Nurturing every one of these relationships is always going to be a challenge, and it's going to take your full attention. And if you have higher caliber relationships, you will be able to give and receive instead of having a parasitic relationship where they're just taking all the time from you. You can have a symbiotic relationship. You might have remembered these terms from times that I had talked about the stuff in your life. When tables don't, when they become parasitic and you're just trying to take care of this thing for the simple fact that instead of having a caring relationship with that object, the same holds true for individuals that you're connected to. Really think about bringing that symbiotic connection to another person. Try and develop those communities and find the way to support and nurture those relationships together as a collective community. We don't have enough communication in our life. We don't have enough places where we can commit to one another in a meaningful way. And it's really short bursts of that kind of information. But having that behind you is going to help everybody together. It's time for you to do the thing. It's time for me to do the thing. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I would love to hear how you're building your own communities and what you've developed and what you've discovered as well. Stay curious.